I've made 2 rash guards out of swim fabric, literally from nothing, little scraps I had lying around, so they're basically free. Perfect for a nice splash when it's hot. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing. I have 2 garments today made out of knit fabric. They're perfect for getting wet and splashed on when the weather is hot, and they are rash guards. Now, I haven't been wearing traditional swimsuits for years and years and years. I wear non-traditional things like shorties and rash guards and other types of swim tops, camis, because I feel more comfortable than with a regular swimsuit. It's amazing when you can make it yourself, and GreenStyle has a lot of swim type garments, activewear that you can see on their website for all those types of activities. I think it's great that we can make them ourselves because it's just so much better. And this time I'm super happy because I made these super cute rash guards out of scraps. Now, this rash guard is called Kona. It also has a matching bottom, a swim brief. That one is sold separately. I've only sewn the Kona rash guard. Now, rash guards are fitted. You never see a loose one, so this is a fitted style. The neckline is rounded, sort of higher up here because that's how rash guards are, usually to protect you from the sun and elements. You can sew a short sleeve, you can sew a long sleeve. And then for the body style, you can do a very simple one, which doesn't have any special cut lines. It's just a front and a back on the fold. So that's the most simple version. But then you have 2 other versions that have color blocking lines and different pattern pieces and a whole lot of fun. One of them has a type of raglan cut here on the front. So it's a little separate piece there between the front and the sleeve, which makes it look like a raglan sleeve. But it's only in the front. It's not really a raglan sleeve. I think that is super cute. The back for that one would be a solid back. The other fun thing you can do is these little round cutoffs here from the waist down. It's like princess seams, but they're not princess seams because they are here below this area on the front and the back. You get a nice curved look there on this side of your body. You can color block that. I think that is super cute. And if you sew the Kona bottoms, they're going to match those same lines as that color blocking line. So if you do the same type of color blocking, it could look really cool. I prefer shorties for swimming, so that's why I didn't make the swim briefs, but they are there if you want to sew a matching pair. I think that would be really cool. You can choose between 3 lengths. One is cropped, would be above the natural waist. The other one would be at the waist, and the longest one will be a little below the waist. Even though on the pattern it says high hip, I would say it's a very high hip because it's just a little below the natural waist. And the Kona bottoms, they're sold separately. They're both going to be on sale through next Tuesday, the 6th of May. The Kona rash guard is going to be 27% off, and the Kona bottoms are going to be 25% off. So it's a nice little discount for you. I will leave you all the information in the description box and at the very top of the comment section pinned so you can find it easy. My affiliate link is there. If you click on it, it will take you directly there. You don't pay anything extra. It's just that the designer would give me a small commission back from any sale that goes through my link. One way you can support the work that I do on YouTube. For the rash guard, you need knit fabric that stretches at least 75% horizontally and at least 50% vertically because there's a lot of negative ease here. It is a really fitted garment. I think option number 1 would be a swim fabric. Option number 2 would be an athletic knit. I wouldn't really stray much from that unless you want to make a garment using the pattern just to be a t-shirt or a knit top. But that's not for getting wet and active and things like that. For both of mine, I used swim fabric. For one of them, for one of the little cutouts, the color blocking thing, I used an athletic knit. Now, the special thing about this one is that I used scraps. I used leftover pieces from other garments. I even sort of modified one existing garment and transformed it so that I could have a little bit to do the color blocking pieces. So for me, these 2 garments were literally free. They came from nowhere. I used small amounts of black swim fabric to, complement, but I always keep that around, yardage of that. But the rest that makes it special were from other things, and they were in a box, just little bits here and there, and I was able to make 2 whole garments out of them. So that is super cool. The sizing for GreenStyle is in letters, and they've changed. It's got a new size chart, which has a lot of sizes now from A1 through to M3. So if you look at the chart, there's a lot of sizes there, and they all go in increments of 1 inch at the bust, the waist, and the hips everywhere. So it's really easy for you to find your exact size and not sort of be in between sizes and things like that. So when I plot my measurements down, my bust is an F1, same as my waist, but then my hips are an F2. I decided to just make an F2 I didn't really want to deal with blending the lines of the color blocking pieces. And the difference is just 1 inch, you know, that tiny bit more ease around here, I wasn't going to be mad about. And plus, I always think, you know, I'm going to wear a sports bra under here. Sometimes there's padding and extra bulk in those bra foam cups and things. So yeah, just the F2 was good for me, and I was pretty sure I was going to have an amazing fit. I didn't make a test garment or anything. I did make one tiny change, and this is just personal preference. It's not a fitting change, something I wanted to do, which was lower the neckline by 1 inch. Rash guards are known to have a high neckline, but I would like mine a little bit lower. When you see mine on, you'll still see it's a high neckline, but it would have been even higher. So here's a picture of what I did. I just lowered it by 1 inch, kept it straight for about 1.5 inches, and then just curved it up, meeting the top part of the neckline so it wouldn't change the shoulder area right here. I did that for both of mine, and I'm very happy I did that. Lengthened the neckband a little bit to compensate the tiny bit of depth that I added by making it a little bit lower, but it was a very easy adjustment. I think if you wanted a lot longer, you would have to do major pattern adjustments, blend out a few sizes so that it would fit the widest part of the hip that you want it to hit. It wouldn't be as easy as just dividing your paper, adding extra length, and that's it. It wouldn't fit your hips that way. You'd have to do more sizing adjustments to get it to fit if you wanted it, say, 2 or 3 inches longer. So I'm just pointing that out. It wouldn't be that straightforward to make it super long because the style is so fitted. Now for the sewing, I'm going to show you how these came together, how I cut them up, where I got these pieces from. I did add sneaky seams here and there that I'm going to top stitch and highlight as features because they're not in the pattern. You know, when you're working with scraps, sometimes you just need to add a little bit of seams. First, I'm going to show you how they ended up and what the main construction would be like, so you can see what I ended up with. So let's see a tiny little clip. Here are my two versions, two rash guards. I have done the color blocking, the top stitching, all those little extra seams. And now we have a back piece here. We have a back piece there. I've got sleeves, I've got neckbands. And now the steps that follow are the ones you would do for a regular top, knit top or t-shirt. So the fronts will go on top, right sides together. And then I'm going to follow the same order of events I always follow. Shoulder seams, side seams. I like setting my sleeves in on the round, even though it's a knit. You can see this video here. This is the thumbnail that shows you how I sew a basic knit t-shirt, which would be the exact same thing I'm going to follow now. It's just the difference is that these pieces are made out of more pieces. But now it's just the front and the back, and the construction is pretty straightforward. You saw I had my completed color block pieces front and back. I had my neckbands, my sleeves. After doing all the assemble of all the main pieces, then the rest was just like sewing any basic knit top, be a t-shirt, whatever it is. I have a full tutorial in a lot of detail showing you how to sew any tee. The video is actually labeled how to sew any tee because the process would be exactly the same no matter what brand you're sewing. You know, it's always sort of the same thing. So please follow that tutorial if you want to see what came afterwards. Let me show you how the raglan option came together and how I highlighted some seams and got all that together. This is the other option. This would be a front on the fold, and it has a different type of shape similar to a raglan sleeve, and then this would be sewn on there. So it's going to look like a raglan sleeve, but it's actually not. It's just color blocking that looks that way. And then you're going to have the sleeve sewn on. So this is the other option. The back would be simple cut on the fold. Now I've done a lot of extra seams here because I was working with a little bit of leftovers. So for my version, I'm going to have a center front seam, and the back is going to have a yoke. And the only way to get it to work was the yoke is going to have a center back seam, and then the bottom piece is going to be on the fold. I am going to top stitch all of these extra seams to make them a feature. I don't think it's wrong to add extra seams. So yeah, I'm going to get a beautiful rash guard from a tiny little bit left over. This is something I used to make a dress a few years ago. It's lovely. And I'm glad I'm going to get a whole garment out of it, combining it with black. This is swim fabric. Before sewing this version with the raglan sleeves, I'm going to go ahead and sew the seams that I added as extra. This is the center front where I added 3/8 seam allowance to the pattern piece so it could end up being exactly the same, and I've serged it. I'm going to do the same with the yoke piece over here. I'm serging, being careful not to trim anything away. And then I'm going to sew with a narrow zigzag on the sewing machine just to conserve that 3/8 seam allowance and so that I can top stitch it flat with a 1/4 inch presser foot and a narrow zigzag. And that turns my extra sneaky seams into features. This is how the center back yoke is going to look. Remember, this yoke does not exist in the pattern. I just added it by cutting across the pattern piece and adding seam allowance to both. So I've top stitched it flat because swim fabric doesn't really press nicely. So if I just steamed it, it probably wouldn't look as flat as if I top stitched it. So that's what I've done over here. And I'm going to repeat the same for the center front. Then I'm going to sew the yoke to the bottom of the back piece that is just one piece cut on the fold. And then I'll have a completed back, a completed front. And then I can continue putting this together as if these seams were not here. Here I've already united the yoke that had that center back piece to the bottom of the back piece. So I will have a completed back piece. I have serged it, sewn it, and now I'm finishing the top stitching here. Super fun. All these extra little seams, I don't mind. I'm really excited for how this is going to turn out. And the best of all, from Scraps, it's like it's free. This is how this version looks for the front. Now remember, I have a center front seam. Ignore that. If you've cut yours on the fold, you just have an extended piece. And then we have these little cutouts here that are going to resemble a raglan sleeve. This longer end is going to be part of the shoulder seam. This shorter end is going to be part of the side seam. I've got all the pieces right sides up. And now all we have to do is flip it like this, flip it like that, and just pin it. Although the curves are very strange, they are going to match up. And then we're going to sew it. Here it is pinned. Everything matches 1-to-1, even though the shapes are strange. Just go along. I actually started from the ends and went into the centers. And I found that easier than just trying to go one way. Now I'm going to sew with the serger, just like I did on the other seams. I'm going to sew with my sewing machine as well. And then I'm going to top stitch. Always the same process. How this turned out. Now I'll show you an image here on this edge of the dress it came from. It's a beautiful dress, draped dress. You know, I sometimes use swim for regular clothes because I can't get away from the prints. I had tiny little bits left over and I was able to get this rash guard, which I think turned out amazing. I do have a center front seam that is extra that was not in the pattern that I top stitched. At the back, I added a yoke, which is a great sort of thing you can do if you want, you know, to use little bits. I have a center back seam on this yoke right here that I top stitched. I think it looks intentional, like it's meant to be. With activewear and rash guards, extra seams are welcome, you know, so I don't feel bad I had to do that. And then here is the color blocked option that we have in the pattern. So that was really fun to do, really nice. I've top stitched as well. My short little sleeve right here and the bottom. Super nice. I think it turned out cute as can be. I love the fabric so much, and every time I checked my little box full of neat scraps, I always looked at it thinking, what could I do? I mean, there was so little left, and now I have something that is amazing. This is the inside, whole lot of little seams, lots of seams, all top stitched and pressed flat. Such a fun project, loved putting it together. Although it took a few extra minutes to make these seams and complete all the seams to have a back and a front, I think it was worth it and I'm very happy. So let's see what this one styled a few ways. All different types of black bottoms here. This is my second Kona rash guard. I used scraps for this one. I used another color blocking option that you'll see up closer. Same size F2 with no changes. The longer version paired with my duet skirts from GreenStyle. I think it looks super cute with the flip-flops. Yeah, I'm really digging this one. And the tropical print here is amazing. I'm glad I was able to use more scraps for this one. And it's perfect. I did add a few sneaky seams to my rash guard though. I have a center front seam. I added a yoke at the back with a center back seam, but because the print is busy, you can barely tell. That's the length you can see. I'm not going to be showing my tummy. I'm just showing you the waistband of the skirts, which I think is really cute. This one has a type of raglan cut there on the front, makes it look like a raglan sleeve, but it's actually just a color block piece on the front. I think it's super cool. You can barely see my extra yoke and extra center back seam there. It was the only way to get the rash guard out of the little scrap that I had available. And there is my neckband. It's also top stitched flat, as well as my center front seams. All the extra seams are top stitched and all the seams as well, just to keep everything nice and neat. I used narrow zigzag for that, really easy, all on my domestic sewing machine and my serger. I didn't use a cover stitch because I don't have one, so don't think you need to have one. You can still make really cute things with just your sewing machine and your serger. I love the colorful look here. It's so cute, so tropical. It's got me written all over it. Here are my wide leg pants again, made out of linen, perfect to go to the beach or the pool. I would have my shorties under there and be ready to get into the water. So yeah, I love these pants. I'm glad I have them, and the silhouette matches perfectly with the fitted silhouette of the Rash Guard. Super cute. Here are my shorts again that look like a skirt made out of athletic knit. I use the same bottoms for all. It's really hard to style a Rash Guard, you know. It's not like a fashion item that you would wear on the street, but it has its purpose and I think it's great. I would wear a sports bra underneath for getting wet. You know, there's no support or anything in here. It's just to cover yourself. So I love non-traditional swimwear, and I'm glad GreenStyle makes these really cute Rash Guards that we can make ourselves. Making them out of scraps was super satisfying, just the best feeling, because they're literally free, made from something that was totally worthless in a little scrap bin. For my second one, I had a pair of leggings that was just sitting there, the sundial leggings from GreenStyle. I made them at the end of 2020 in a very colorful print. I have worn them actually a lot, but I'm more into leggings that are made out of solids right now. So I haven't worn those in about a year. And I always thought, you know, I'm going to cut them into shorties. I always had that idea. And because I was looking at this Rash Guard, I thought, let's get these leggings and use the bottom of the legs that I want to chop off to do some color blocking. So let's see how this second one came to be. This one has the little curved sections on the side. I'm going to be doing some fun color blocking, and I've got these fun sundial leggings I made in 2020. I love the prints, but I'm actually not drawn to leggings with prints at this stage. I prefer solids. So instead of them just sitting there, I'm going to cut them and leave them as shorts, which will be amazing. I'm going to wear those little shorts with the Rash Guard. So I've got the pants here and I'm just going to cut them. I've measured the inseam that I want to keep, and I'm going to use the bottom of the legs to cut out my color block pieces for my Rash Guard. I think it's going to look super cute. So I'm going to take these bottom parts of the legs and just open up the seam, undo the hem, and I'll have these pieces here that are just big enough for me to cut these two pieces that I need to cut. That's going to be the detail for this fun Rash Guard. I'm also going to be able to get the neckband out of this leg piece as well. These are the pattern pieces for the Kona Rash Guard from GreenStyle. This is just one of the options. Here you can see the front, and here you can see on the side there's a cutout on the shape where you're going to have this color blocked piece right here. It's just one pattern piece that you cut twice, so you have 4 pieces mirrored. It's the same piece that you use for the cutout on the back. They're both on the fold. The front has a lower neckline, the back has a higher neckline. I've actually lowered my neckline further by an inch just because I prefer it slightly lower. I've got a short sleeve here, but you can also sew a 3/4 or a full length sleeve. And that is one option. Another option is just have a plain front and a plain back, no color blocking. Now I'm going to work on the color blocking of my other version. This is another option in the pattern, front and back. They have these cutouts with these shapes. So all of these are right sides up. And now all you have to do is flip them, put them right sides together, and then match up the curves. I'm going to start like this, same, from the edges into the center for all of them. Don't try to stretch them or force them to match. They are going to match. And then we're going to sew them on the serger. For these curved little shapes, I've done the same. I've pinned them. Now I'm serging them. Careful not to trim away much of it here, just to keep all the seam allowance in place. Then I'm going to sew it with a sewing machine with a shallow zigzag 3/8. All of these, there's 4 to do. After that, I'm top stitching. I'm pushing the seam allowance towards the center, so I'm top stitching on the black area here, and it's a better way to do it to keep the seam allowance flat than trying to press the seam allowance towards the side seam. So this is how it turned out. This is the bottom legs of my sundial leggings. I have now cute shorties that I'm going to wear for sure. And it's super nice. All these color blocking lines meet up there at the side seams. Everything's top stitched nice and flat, so could press well. I had enough to do the neckband. I think it's okay to do color blocking like this for a rash guard. For regular clothing, I'm not into color blocking like that much. But for a rash guard or swimwear, activewear, I think all the color blocking is going to be amazing. So I was super happy to have this there. Now, I rarely ever top stitch a neckband, but I did right here just because it's heavier athletic knit and it was not lying flat when pressed. So I did top stitch that on the edge stitched. So that's the difference. Usually most of the knit tops I make, I just press the neckband and call it a day when it's cotton lycra or rayon spandex, something like that, but not for this. This is the exception. I think this turned out super cute. I love it. It's so nice. That's how it looks like on the other side. That's how the seams look like over here. Really nice curved seams. I had a lot of fun putting those together. I think they look really nice, really cool. And remember, if you made the Kona bottoms, these lines here would match the same color blocking on the bottoms if you were to do them. This swim fabric, the black one, it has UV protection. It's very nice. It's very compressive, very heavy. It's not that flimsy type and it's matte. So there's no shine here, which is what I always look for in swim fabric. So I'm very happy with this one. Let's see it styled. This is my first Kona Rash Guard from GreenStyle. This is a size F2. This is the version that has the color blocking on the sides, curved sections in the front and the back. And I made no fitting adjustments. I made the longest available. I made mine out of swim fabric and I've got it paired with one of my duet skirts, also from GreenStyle, super cute. This would be great for going to a water park or something, getting wet. You can see this is the longest version and it just covers my waistband, so it's slightly below the natural waist, the longest version, at least for me. I made the neckband out of the contrast fabric, same as the curved sections on the side. I think it's super cute. I did top stitch this neckband, which is an exception for me because this swim fabric was not pressing. As you know, it won't press flat like other fabrics. I love it with the skirts. I think it looks super cute, and those curved little seams there are a very fun way to use up your little scraps. If I was going somewhere, I would be wearing underneath these pair of wide leg pants, the swim bottoms that I would be wearing, shorties or something. So that's how I'd rock up with my flip-flops and everything. Take off the pants and I'd be ready to jump in the water. So this is great. I love these black pants and they go perfect with this. Look at that curved section. I think it looks really nice. The shorter length and fitted silhouette means it goes really well with wide leg pants or a wider type of skirt. I really like how this looks and I would feel really good wearing this. Here's another option I found. These are shorts made out of athletic knit. They're wider. They sort of look like a skirt, but they're not. They are shorts, so they're super comfortable to wear. And of course, black will go with this, keeping it in line, keeping everything super casual and super ready to get wet. I really like how this looks. The shorts are a little wider, super comfortable with the waistband. The rash guard is just covering the waistband, and I really like this. I love how they turned out. I think they turned out cute as can be. So satisfying to make them out of scraps. Small amounts of swim fabric, the black one, but that's okay. But the rest just made them all that special. I can wear them so many ways and I'm really going to enjoy them. So fun project. I fully recommend if you have scraps lying around, you could get some like this. And even if you use brand new fabric, it's so little amounts that you need. It's so good. I love that. Don't forget to check out the Kona Rash Guard if you're interested in the Kona bottoms as well. They're all going to be on sale through Sunday, the 6th of May. That's all from me. I'll see you again on Thursday with more sewing fun over here. Bye.